Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. This episode, Dead in Breakfast. Yeah, my copy's next rental. Directed by Matthew Lutwile in the year 2004. Released in Australia on rental DVD through Madman Entertainment. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. Your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror cinema with me, your host, Mila Zipko. If you want to spell my name, just look at the channel name. Now in this episode we take a look at an old, well, probably what, maybe, yeah, it's fairly old zombie film from the early 2000s. And my copy is the next rental, by the way, so you can see for that cover. See that? Of course, it says comedy, but yeah, it's a horror comedy, basically. In fact, it actually says on the cover, could be the US answer to Shaun of the Dead, as if. Now, this film was directed by Matthew Lutwile, and this is actually his debut, and he went on to make a number of other films, including the 2015 Sympathetica Uncanny, which was released in Australia as Android. Oh, I should point out that this actually, Australian disc is of the unrated version, the uncut version. And this was a festival release. It premiered in USA on the South by Southwest Film Festival on March 2004. Then, in the 26th of April 2004 in the UK, the Dead by Dawn Horror Film Festival. Then on the 12th of July 2004 in Canada at the Fantasia Film Festival. Then on the 19th of August 2005 as a limited release in the USA. And then it had its DVD premiere on the 6th of September 2005 in the USA. All that taken. Now, the film stars Eva Carradine, David Carradine's niece. Also, David Carradine actually appears in this as well, in a cameo. The cast also includes people like Gina Phillips, Brent David Fraser, Jeremy Sisto, Eric Palladino, Bianca Lawson, who's basically Kendra in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Oz Perkins, yep, Norman Bates' son himself, and of course David Carradine. Now the disc itself has an audio commentary, a trailer, and preview trailers as for the supplement. And I'll get into that later. One of the earliest entries in the post-millennial zombie market of the 2000s, Dead in Breakfast was the debut of director Matthew Lutwile, who would go on to make a series of indie films, including the Sympathetica Uncanny, whose sole distinction was that Alex Garland ripped it off for his film Ex Machina. The film was promoted as the American answer to the British horror comedy masterpiece Shaun of the Dead, a claim that the film falls far short of, with a pleasant diversion to the zombie genre. Dead in Breakfast isn't anything other than a run-of-the-mill zombie comedy that plays a comedy by the numbers. And the film is a long way away from the quality of Shaun of the Dead. The story is pretty much standard horror territory. A group of friends going to a friend's wedding, and this friend's wedding happens to be Portia de Rossi. She's pretty bitchy as a bride here. Find themselves stuck in a shitty little backwater town after an employee working in the bed and breakfast they picked to spend the night in is killed, and the owner, David Carradine, dies of a heart attack. Whilst forced to stay in the town of Lovelock until the sheriff concludes a murder investigation, and this is a pretty small town by the way, one of the friends accidentally interferes with the late B&B owner's Kuman Thong, and unleashes a malevolent spirit that infects the townsfolk and causing a zombie uprising. A drifter passing through the town has the knowledge of stopping the zombie attack, and he and several of the surviving townsfolk attempt to reverse possession. Before I go on any further with the film review, let me explain about the Kuman Thong. And no, it's not lingerie or anything. The Kuman Thong is in fact a real object, derived from Thai religious folklore. Kuman Thongs, and get this, are the remains of unborn or stillborn children who have been turned into talismans meant for those who possess them to generate luck and good fortune. Although this film's claims about demonic possession entirely fiction. The Kuman Thong is sourced rather unethically, to put it mild about it. Many Kuman Thongs were made by witch doctors who specialize in black magic, taking unborn fetuses through illegal abortions, some of which also wind up killing the mother as well, and through a disturbing ceremony, boil up the fetus's remains to turn them into the shrine that many rich people spend a good deal of money for in order to bring them the good finances they wish. I remember hearing the story of a Muay Thai trainer who lost his job and was forced to spend a few nights at a friend's place in the Thailand countryside. The friend and his wife had no children of their own, but they did possess a Kuman Thong, which they placated by giving it treats and toys. And every single night, the guest heard little footsteps running everywhere and the sound of a child's laughter. After a few nights, the guests went Fuck this, I'm out of here, and decide to leave. Weird shit, huh? All true. As for the film itself, Dead and Breakfast is a fairly average zombie comedy with some decent gore. The Australian DVD release from Madman Entertainment is of the uncut version. Of course, here in Australia, compulsory classification means it was rated MA, which basically is the Australian version of the R rating in America. The Australian R is the Australian version of NC-17. And in Australia, MA-15 means that, well, under 15s can watch it, but they have to be in the company of an adult or parent. Now where was I? Yeah. And a few good jokes lit through it. But what director Matthew Lutweiler is pretty slick for a first time, and the way the editing juxtaposes the scene transitions are nice, it ultimately is a film that has nothing original to add to the zombie genre. And this was like one of the earliest post-millennial zombie films. Came out like right at the time it started to get big, around 2004. And also uses a few cliches, like giving the characters various skills that come out of nowhere. Like the vegan happens to know sign language, and another who can speak French, and as well as a chick who can build a homemade shotgun MacGyver style, and the drifter's knowledge of the Thong, not to mention the Evil Dead poster at the 47th minute mark. Although I give the film credit for having the B&B look like the house from Psycho, and starring Oz Perkins, the son of Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates himself. And of course, Perkins Jr. also ends up being the baddie of the film. The film's plot moves entirely by the numbers, and the dancing zombies are admittedly a little too silly to take seriously though. But did I mention it's a pretty decent goal? Dead and Breakfast has booked itself a room in the C, 4 out of 10 section of the Apatros Reviews B&B. A standard early 2000s zombie flick that does give some amusement, but it's not just any standout in any way. It's fairly average. A decent diversion, but not more than that. Now for gore nudity. There's a fair bit of groove, from decapitations to holes blown through heads, limbs cut and shot off, hammers through the brain, metal pipe shotguns used for both shooting and giving a good old-fashioned beating with. That seems funny. Stabbings, and the drum cymbal uses a shuriken, ninja style. It basically cuts right through a guy's head, and cut halfway for some poor bastard's head. No nudity though, or for one of the characters is revealed to be cheating on his girlfriend by banging her friend's cousin. As for the DVD, this review print is of the early 2000s rental disc released from Madman Entertainment, which was a subsidiary of Madman Entertainment, which specialized in rental films. And they pretty much went defunct as soon as the rental market pretty much collapsed. End of the video stores. And this was part of the rental catalog during the 2000s. The film is in 178 non-anamorphic letterbox, so basically 4x3 letterbox, so the 16:9 junkies will be somewhat pissed off. But at least you get to see the film in its proper aspect ratio. And by the way, the 4x3 letterbox was designed in the early DVDs because in the early 2000s, 4x3 TV sets were still around. The print is of the uncut version, known as the unrated version in America, although in Australia, compulsory classification means that this is given an MA-15 rating, which, like I mentioned, explained already, meaning under 15s need to be with a parent or adult guardian in order to watch this. And as such, looks decent enough for an early 2000s production. Although the film's subdued color palette means that if you're planning to use this disc as a demonstration for your brand new OLED 4K TV, forget about it, as the only color you'll see in vibrancy is blood red, pretty much dark blood red. The only supplement here, aside from the film's trailer and some previews for other films in the Magic Catalog, is an audio commentary from some of the cast and crew. And normally I don't listen to audio commentaries. Not usually, because I'm a bit of a time crunch these days. Anyway, and by the way, I should point out that the best commentary on a zombie film ever is the one that David Warbeck and Katrina McCall did for The Beyond. It's available on quite a few Beyond Blu-rays if you can get that. That's the awesome commentary track, by the way. Okay, that's it for that episode. So, Then Breakfast gets a C, 4 out of 10. It's average. I mean, it's a decent diversion to early 2000s zombie films, but not really that great. I mean, not that special. It is funny and gory, but it's just like elevator music. In fact, you can put this on, if you're a gorehound, you can put this on the TV in the background just at a party or doing the cleaning and stuff, and it'll be fine. And this disc is, I don't think there are many copies of this particular one going around. It is out of print, long time. But again, I guess on Apatros review you'll see a lot of red DVDs. Okay. Take it easy, relax. By the way, I do not do requests, but if you have any questions about DVDs or any films you think I have in my collection, just ask me and I'll be more than happy to answer. Okay. See you around and take it easy. Bye.